Lisa Blackstone with the Horse and Rider Club. A frequent question I get is, what exactly is the difference between English and Western? Well, it's not quite as cut and dried as you might think. When you just look at the two different kinds of saddles, you'd think English saddles don't have a horn, Western saddles have a horn. Well, it's not quite that simple. Within each of the two riding disciplines, English and Western, there are what you might want to call subcategories. For example, in English, you have dressage riding, you have hunt seat riding where you jump fences, and you have riding that requires flat saddles with big trotting English horses like saddlebreds and Morgans and Arabians. So within the English division, you might say, there are at least three, and a few more really, different kinds of riding that all have different kinds of saddles. The dressage saddles are built with a very deep seat and a flat flap in the front because the rider sits very low in the saddle with a long stirrup. So the saddle needs to accommodate that positioning. Contrast that to someone who's jumping. Well, when you jump a horse, you shorten your stirrups. Well, when you shorten your stirrups, what happens to your knee? It bends and goes forward. So the hunt saddle is going to have a big flap in the front that will accommodate the position of your knee. And that will help you as a rider jump and maintain your balance best. And then a flat saddle. These are the saddles that go on big trotting horses that usually have high withers. And so as a result of that, they have a cutout area in the wither area to accommodate that conformation. And this rider also rides with a longer stirrup. So the flap in the front is very straight and long, and the saddle is also very flat in the seat. Well, that covers generally most of the English saddles you're going to see. Western has equally as many differences because they do so many different things with Western horses. For example, cutting. Cutting horses are trained to keep a cow away from a herd. So they are constantly shifting their weight from one side to the next and sprinting and stopping and starting and turning. And that rider is going to need a saddle that will help him stay on. So you're going to find that they have high, wide swells to help the rider maintain his seat. And they're also going to have taller horns for the rider to hold on to. Now, if you have a reining horse, which is another Western horse, that's a horse that's going to perform patterns. You're going to be doing figure eights and rollbacks and sliding stops and runs and big circles. And for that, you want to have a saddle that doesn't get in your way as a rider, so your rein doesn't get caught on the horn. The horn is lower and the fork is lower. So this saddle is going to look a little different from a cutting saddle. Then you're going to have a roping saddle. Now, roping saddles are different altogether because what they do, a roper, they run after a cow, and I'm sure you've probably seen it. They lasso the cow and bring it to a stop, and they dally that rope around the horn. Now, you can imagine how strong that horn needs to be to keep that rope taut with a cow on the other end and the horse backing up to keep the rope tight. So that horn is going to be extra durable and thick, and that saddle itself is going to be very heavy and durable because it sustains so much pressure. And then there's the barrel racing saddle, and that one's a different saddle altogether because this is where you're trying to achieve maximum speed going around these barrels. And in this case, you want the saddle to be very light so it doesn't encumber the horse at all. And the rider has to have maximum maneuverability with her legs so that she can shift and move to help the horse maintain balance as they're going in these small circles around the barrels. So this saddle is light, the horn is tall and thin for a rider to hold on to, and the fenders are free moving, more so than you'll find with other Western saddles. So as you can see, the answer to what's the difference in English and Western is not quite as simple as it initially sounds. Ultimately, it is a good rider that uses each of these saddles to feel their horse and to maintain proper balance to help the horse achieve what it is they are trying to achieve. That's why these saddles differ, because we're asking the horses to do these very different tasks. Well, I hope that was helpful for you, and if you are interested in seeing more videos like this one, I invite you to go to my website at horseridingvideos.org, and there you'll find 20 more videos that cover different topics such as this, and if you'll go there and sign up, I will send you those 20 videos immediately. Thanks for listening.